This
Okay,
is my
good.
this is my favorite topic, right? And so, you know, I could sit here and just ask you questions, but I want to know about the project. Like, obviously,
Okay.
I'm a supporter regardless because I support you. But tell me about your project. What do we got going on? Like, what's the general introduction here? And what are we looking at?
Yeah. So, like, let me. I think it's best to like give a little intro of myself. So, on the way to like what made me get into this. So I came into crypto kind of super early in 2012, doing a little bit of speculation on Bitcoin, and I got rugged by Mount Gox. So that dates me. Actually, Mount Gox, like, just so Mark Karpios, who so for people who don't know in the audience, Mount Gox is like the biggest exchange by, I don't know, a couple orders of magnitude or something, like at least an order of magnitude, back then, back in 2012, 13, and their security was really bad, and they got hacked, and the founder, Mark Karpios, like, I don't think it was, it wasn't anything malicious. I think it was just bad security. Um, and there's been like a 10-year, like an 8 year settlement procedure all this time, trying to
Yep.
get some percentage of the coins back. So that's Mount Gox. But he just released an NFT. It's like a Mount Gox. Like, you can only get it. You can
I
you
heard
can
about
only get
this.
it
Yeah.
if you have a claim on Mount Gox. So
Oh, that's
it's pretty good.
awesome.
I just applied for one. Uh, but yeah, and so um, I kind of paid attention on and off to the crypto world since then. I when I was going through school, I did my PhD in math, so for the most part, I didn't really have much time to focus on crypto. So I kind of know crypto, like early crypto in flashes. Like, I was there in 2017. I was paying attention because whenever there was kind of a lot of activity. Um, and after my PhD, I did some kind of data science things, and I in 2000, kind of 2020 DeFi summer, I realized that there was ways to make, to earn on my crypto. So I started paying attention again and digging into AMMs and basic DeFi stuff.
Mhm.
And I got pulled in kind of deeper and deeper, and I was trying to do a bit of trading and figure out what was going on, and dig into the weeds. And I kind of realized, probably around the time I started talking to you, that, like, a lot of what's driving the pricing action in crypto, like all the swings are, it's a lot of institutional trading and insider information.
Yep.
And right then I was like, okay, how can I, kind of pivot
Spot
into
this.
understanding that better?
Yeah.
And so I kind of started paying attention to some wallets and thinking about how to get that data. Um, and so yeah, so I started researching the data side of things, and
Crawling
kind
through
of wise whales.
Etherscan for hours, huh?
Yeah, going through Etherscan, and just I kind of hired. At that point in time, I kind of hired a couple developers to help me think through the data side of things, and so we were like parsing transactions and getting into it. And that's
Mhm.
why I started thinking about this kind of stuff. So what Wise Whales is, I'll just jump into what we're actually doing. So we find all the whale wallets on Solana by looking at volume on decentralized exchanges, and we analyze these wallets historically to find the most profitable whales. So these are the Wise Whales, using an algorithm that we've developed. And for these Wise Whales, we display their token holdings, their NFT holdings, and their DeFi positions, like protocol by protocol. And we display it in different time horizons. So we have a section for their current holdings, one for the moves they've made in the last 24 hours, and 1 week. So for the 24-hour and 1 week section, it's like what swaps they've made and the delta in their DeFi positions, that kind of thing. And we display the information in aggregate. So we like sum over all of the whale wallets for every kind of position, every token holding, that kind of thing. Um, So, one reason why we did that is we didn't want to like dox every successful wallet on Solana. But
Hmm.
the bigger reason why we did that is really just it's like the easiest way to ingest the data. Like if you display it kind of every like wallet by wallet, it's like you're sifting through one wallet to try to figure things out in another wallet, and
Yep.
there can be some contradictions, like someone's buying something and someone's selling the same thing, right? Or getting into a
Yep.
position and someone's getting out of it. And really, what you really want is what the sum total of all the smartest people, in Solana, the most profitable wallets, what they're doing, kind of in total.
I
And so
know
that's
exactly how
that's
that
kind of what
works.
we, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we display.
Yeah. Uh, so a couple questions about that to you. Um, assuming that Solana transactions are rendering out pretty much the same type of, uh, and sorry if I get a little technical here, guys, but it's what's called an ontology. It's a subject, a predicate, and an object. It's a so and so transfers to so and so, right? So you always have start, the amount that's transferred, and then the person that's transferred to is kind of like what the edges and the vertices is of a graph database, right? But you guys, one of the things that's kind of really weird too is especially uh, we notice this a lot with Ethereum transactions, and I don't know if you guys would see this so much on Solana, is that a person may transfer it to like two or three wallets that they own, or it could be a fund that's operating. So you kind of want to be able to cluster all of those wallets together that act together and kind of have these intermingling transactions, and maybe cluster them together as a single entity, right? And then
Yeah,
try to identify those entities in a whole. And I think that that's something that you guys uh, will, probably find the most value, or be able to extract the most value out of as well.
yeah. No, it's a good point for sure. And like I've done a whole bunch of clustering myself, and I know you have
Yep.
too. It's kind of like almost the intersection of our knowledge at the beginning. So we haven't done the clustering yet, but it's like, of course, we're going to do that. It's
Yep.
we're focused on getting all the transaction data parsed, but that'll be easy, and we'll for sure be doing that. I don't know if it would be like immediately at launch, but it's like right in my mind for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Those are tougher things to do, by the way, but those are good things to invest in, right? Like those are the kinds of things that
oh,
I
absolutely.
see as like, oh yeah, if these people can figure this out, then you know this is worth a lot, right? So, and
Yeah,
I
I
know you
mean,
guys are capable.
yeah, yeah. So, and there's different levels of being able to do that. So, I think it's something that like the clustering part is something that'll be kind of an ongoing process and refined over time. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. That'll be fun for me.
Yeah, sorry, and I wasn't trying to dictate a direction or anything. I just know what's possible with
No, no,
what you guys are
absolutely.
doing. So it's like, yeah, you guys will be able to index top performers, right? And
Oh yeah,
indexing those top performers is really more than anything what's going to drive the market, right? So once you can prove something, and this is something that's very, very true, as you know about crypto markets, it's like if you can prove something's true and that there's value in it, people will continue to replicate that process, which means they'll typically follow, right? And so you guys have
yeah,
created literally the name scheming around it is wise whales. Like these people are the I would say the most effective for certain types of activity, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. That's the whole thing, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see kind of if people following um, our site and actually taking action on these moves, like if it has kind of reinforcing behavior on the actual price action, right?
Of
Like the wise
course.
whales do something, and our guys ape into when there's big moves, and that reinforces the price behavior. Yeah, that kind of stuff. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the sociological approach to market making, right? But so I mean, yeah. So how are you guys going to display this data? Are you guys building dashboards? Are you guys building APIs? Like, what's the release plan? If you could
Right.
talk
So
about that, I hope I'm not uncovering too much about the product, but
no, no, no. So right, so we're gonna be dropping an NFT in about a month, and so it'll be NFT gated access to the site, and so the site will be, it's broken up into sections. Um, there's the NFT section, the DeFi section, and kind of the summary page. And
Mhm.
in the now 24 hours and 1 week format. So it's it's kind of drop down tables. A lot of it just looking at what's going on. So in the NFT section, it's collection by collection, and just like sorted by volume, or the most the collections that the wise whales have the most of, or in the
Yep.
24-hour section, like the moves that they made the most. So like for example, in the 24-hour section, the first the number one might be 70 crypto monks, not crypto monks because this is Solana,
Yeah.
but 70 collection X were sold in the last 24
Solana
hours.
monks.
Yeah.
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 The next drop. And maybe 40 45 of famous foxes were bought, or whatever.
Yeah.
And in the DeFi section, it's protocol by protocol. So we section it off by LP pools, um, leveraged farming, vaults and staking, and perpetual
S-
orders and spot orders.
Oh, wow. So you guys already have all of these, typically we would call them like a subgraph, but you guys have all these DeFi products already figured out and you guys are already
Um,
doing analysis on them.
so I mean, some of them, we're in different processes
Yep.
we're in different spots for like different protocols. So some of them we have totally sorted out, and others we're kind of working on edge cases, and so we're in the middle of it. We're at a pace where I think in about a month we'll be ready to launch. So that's the time frame that we're thinking about approximately.
Yeah.
Who knows, obviously, but that's what we're aiming for right now. And
That's
yeah,
it.
it's been a mess, man. Going through all the transactions, it's a lot of work. I mean, when I started doing this, I was like, this seemed like a very, like, I want to say kind of an obvious thing to do, to kind of try to figure out um, what the most profitable actors are doing and display that information. And I always figured by as I was going through this, there was no one doing it yet. And I figured, after a few months of doing it, that people, there'd be other people, competitors doing the same thing, and it kind of never happened. and
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder why that is. And the more work we did in parsing the transactions and how difficult it was, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
just
pain
a
in the
lot of
ass.
it's a pain in the ass. And I've been in talk with, I know the Solana ecosystem and all the people that are doing the various kind of data things in the Solana ecosystem.
Hmm.
And I talked to all of them, and I know what they're doing and what they're thinking about doing and stuff. Uh, and I think, like, basically no one is really trying to parse this transaction data in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
So it's that was kind of
How are you,
interesting. Like, yeah.
I was gonna say, how are you guys approaching the problem? Because I haven't actually been behind your guys' stack yet, but I assume you guys are just taking in massive amounts of data right now from a node that's running on a network, like an archive node, and then just
Yeah.
trying to figure it out, right? Parse it from there, right? So you're
Yeah.
just getting
Yes.
tons of data in.
Yeah. Yeah. So right. So they're RPC. So they're like validators on Solana, and also
Yep.
like RPC nodes that just transfer the data around.
Yep.
That's kind of their only job. And Solana's. Let me just give a little bit of a summary of, like, why Solana is different than Ethereum, and
Yep.
why it's just harder to do it on Solana. So, Ethereum runs about 15 transactions per second, which is like very, like, it's like nothing, right? Um,
Yeah. It's
and
slow. Very,
Solana,
very slow.
yeah, Solana's in the thousands. So it kind of goes back and forth as Solana deals with its growing pains, but it's around a couple thousand transactions per second. It's a ton of data coming through, and actually, Solana, like the Solana mainnet, I mean, these guys don't even store all the data themselves. They have kind of the last few days of data. So they verify everything, and make sure everything's good. They store kind of flashes, snapshots of various things that they need to. but the
Yep.
entire history is not stored on Solana. And there are private companies that basically use right now. They're using Google Bigtable just to
Oh God.
oh, it's a mess. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there's a few of these private companies that are doing this, and they're all using Bigtable right now, and there's been growing pains for sure, but it's huge amounts of data. So we get the data from them, and
So you guys do
we
like Parquet or or CSV data? You're just downloading tons of. Uh,
yeah we get it. Yeah, we process it on AWS,
mhm.
and then we just kind of go protocol by protocol, and just kind of spend some time looking at the transaction data, all the inner instructions and stuff, and see how it corresponds and
Mhm.
to everything that's going on, and just piece by piece kind of work it out. And there's a ton of edge cases and stuff too that have to be worked out. And there's different versions for every protocol. There's no
Yeah.
standardization for anything. So yeah, it's a mess, but that's cool. I mean, if it was easy, then people would have done it, and it wouldn't be worth doing.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think you'll see that Solana's growth in the last few years probably drawn a lot of attention to it. But the fact that most of this is on, I mean, because ETH is a little different, right? Like you've got the full archive that you can pull up, but Solana I know was a little bit more privatized initially when it launched, and it was a much smaller community for when did they come out? It was like 2016 or 2017, right? When they originally
Um,
launched, wasn't it?
yeah, I want to say no. I think it was actually don't know.
I couldn't tell you either, but I just remember when they launched, it was like, still very early on. Getting the data would be a little bit tougher, but just oh man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know those growing
I think it
pains,
was
but
2019 actually when they launched. It
was
Yeah, it
was
it?
was
not too long ago.
relatively recent, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
was sometime in 2019 from what I
Okay, then
remember.
my timelines are way off, but yeah.
COVID messed up everyone's timelines.
Yeah, 2019 was a crazy year for me as well, but yeah, so I just remember getting Bitcoin data, exchange data from early back on was really, really tough for us. When we started, you guys obviously are focusing on Solana, which is much easier. But I remember too, we started with putting and inserting data into Bigtable, and to be honest, like Google makes a great product, but yeah, I know the challenges that arise from that. And this is really, really exciting too because you guys are kind of pioneering the Solana stuff right now, right? And you do spend a lot of time in the Solana community. And I think you were in Chicago. Was it last year or was it early this year?
Um, yeah, it was. Let's see. It was on the way to Costa Rica. So, yeah. So January. Yeah, I was in Chicago in January. So I've been to a few of these hacker houses in Miami and Chicago, and I'll be at a bunch more coming up. Just kind of getting to know all the players in the ecosystem and stuff. And it's also like that's one of the reasons why I focus on Solana too, just because like personally I was doing more stuff in Solana, and so it just made sense to launch the product there where I knew the ecosystem kind of well, and all the players in it, and all the things going on. I mean, it's tough when you're launching a product. You got to know kind of like what's happening, what's missing in the ecosystem, right? And
Yeah.
so I had a much better vantage point in Solana. And Solana community has been really, honestly, it's a really great vibe. I love the Ethereum community too, and I'm not a maxi of any sort, obviously,
Yep.
but yeah, the Solana ecosystem, it's been really fun because um, it's like it's early and people are just really like willing to help each other. I think it's in one of these situations where there's just a ton of smart people at these hacker houses, and like everyone's just willing to spend any amount of time helping anyone else do anything. So it's really cool, actually, and inspiring and fun. And like whenever I bring like Web 2 people over, like we convert a whole bunch of Web 2 people to Web 3 people just kind of at these hacker houses.
Yeah.
So it's been a blast at these places, man. It's been great. You should come by sometime for sure.
Oh, how I am, dude. I love that stuff. I'm gonna be making the rounds on the East Coast here pretty soon. Just doing visits for different crypto events, and I think we'll actually be doing one here in LA. I don't know, Chinter and sorry, Brendan and Henry know some of the guys that we've been talking to here, and I would love to have you guys in there as well. Um, so,
That'd be dope.
so yeah, let me punch back real quick just to specifics about Wise Whales, the project
Hmm.
itself. So, what about the NFT drop? And I don't know if you guys have everything figured out just yet, but what's the dates looking like? How much are you guys going to mint? Do you have a mint price or any of that stuff figured out yet?
Yeah, so we haven't figured out. So it'll probably the collection will be like 4,000 to 6,000 for 3 to 4 souls, something like that. I'm like being vague about the numbers because
Yeah.
I think in part it's going to be a bit of a community discussion, and we'll kind of
Yep.
see where we land. Closer to the launch. So it'll be in about a month. That's the timeline that I'm working with. But I don't want to launch anything until we're ready. So we'll see as we go. But aiming for a month from now, and somewhere around 5,000 NFTs.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, I would say the idea right now is that we want to get more people, obviously, just in the Solana ecosystem from our community because it's just overall healthy to have a good mix. So
Oh,
I
for
always
sure.
said too, and I always joke, but I was always serious about it. I would love to have you come in and just educate us more on Solana as often as possible because
I know, I know, I
I
know.
I
I mean,
don't
I jumped into
I
one
know you've
of
been heads down.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I jumped into one of them, and we were half planning
I
to do
know.
more, but then shit always hits the fan when you're trying to
Oh,
when
you're
you're trying
starting
to
a
do
business,
stuff.
man. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, but I'll be in.
yeah, you know how I feel about this, and I want to contribute as much as possible because I think you're just a great human being, and you have the right things in focus. And with the potential that we have here, and just the monks community in general, these people are pretty good about support and learning new things and being educated. And to be honest, I've learned
You
more.
guys Yeah, you guys have
Yeah,
an amazing community, honestly, like, I can't believe that you guys have so many people who hop into these voice chats, like, on a regular basis. It's honestly it's like, it's inspiring watching it. It's really great. You guys are really building something here, man. I love it.
yeah, and how software is. Software is just it's just it's an ever changing thing where the landscape changes so fast that
Yeah,
you really have to have your uh how do I say this, like, ear to the ground, I think is the correct way to saying that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, you gotta
So
have your ear to the ground.
yeah, and you have to basically understand that there's a lot you don't know, and you have to talk to people, and you have to communicate and listen a lot of the times. But I come on monks and I just kind of like have diarrhea of the mouth and I just talk and talk and talk about different subjects. But our community in itself has really picked up on these things. And so I think the idea here is to kind of focus on what Wise Whales is, where you guys add value, and then obviously monks that are not on the Solana ecosystem. Dave is literally the guy that we were going to have do all of our Solana stuff. So it doesn't get
Yeah,
any better than that. I mean, yeah, he's
I'm
here.
down. I'm gonna
Yeah,
come
he's.
for sure, for sure. I know we've talked about, we're like, oh, I'm gonna come in and we're gonna
I'm
have
not.
discussions for sure.
This is how I slowly bribe you into being
Yeah, no, no,
helpful.
I 100%.
So-
Because it's helpful. It's helpful to me to as you're saying, like, these discussions have to take place. You got to, like, we all have our strengths and, like, our holes in our knowledge. So we gotta talk it out. And, like, the ecosystem, as a whole, just moves so fast. There's always new products coming out. I'm sure you're in, like, various discussion groups, and I am too. And so people like us who spend so much time thinking about crypto stuff. I mean, we got to share information. That's
of
what it's all
course,
about.
it's a good litmus test too. Before you go public with a lot of stuff. But so I mean, okay, enough of us kind of like patting ourselves on the back, but I just want to kind of go down the road of what's going to be possible here. So,
Yeah,
onboarding people and educating people on Solana is one thing, but when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of what you guys are actually building here,
yeah,
what are we trying to do? Like, what are we trying to create out
yeah.
of our community, right? And what do you think are going to be the most exciting things that they'll be able to take advantage of with what you guys are providing?
Yeah, yeah. So there's kind of a few things that are immediately obvious to me in terms of the alpha that can come out of following the wise whales. Um, and like the first thing that comes to mind, and the first thing that kind of I look at when I'm playing around with this data is kind of the like what's going on in the macro picture in crypto. Um, like when are these wise whales, like when are they moving into stables? When are they stable coins? When are they moving
Hmm.
into layer ones? When are they moving into small cap coins? And like why? What it's all about like coming
What's
up with a
provoking
narrative.
it? Yeah. What's
Yeah,
what's the
yeah. It's
provocation of that? Right? Why did they do that?
right. It's super important to have that macroeconomic picture, crypto macroeconomic picture.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the yeah, that's one of the big things. Just like figuring out when they're getting into these positions. And right now, I mean, there isn't a huge amount of activity on smaller cap coins. There are some new coins that come out, and then there's some amount of activity, and you want to know, how much these guys, the big players, are paying attention to these new coins coming out, and that's super important for sure. But I'm excited for when crypto picks up a bit and people start moving into smaller cap coins, and just being able to see you know the information as soon as possible, like when these wise whales are getting into these smaller cap coins. That's going to be the most profitable stuff for me.
Of
That's
course.
one thing. And another big thing is just watching, on the NFT side, just paying attention to when these guys are buying, buying and selling collections, right? I mean, it's
Hmm.
one thing to look at the data, like the actual NFT data. There's a lot of sites on Solana that just like analyze price action and stuff.
Yep.
There's even one Soul Sniper that looks at they have like a trading view for every NFT collection,
Oh, nice.
kind of setup. Yeah, they're great, man. So you can do like technical analysis on on the
NFTs.
NFTs. Yeah. So that's one thing, but really knowing when like the wise whales are getting into collections, that usually means a lot. And think about it this way. I mean, a lot of these wise whales are influencers and are driving price action. And what they do is, when they get into a collection, and they'll tweet about it. And so this
Yep.
information, like if you can see, them getting into collections before they tweet about it, I mean, that's just that much more. That's just that much better information, right? So yeah, so small cap coins, narrative stuff, and like big movements, and NFT collections on a daily basis for sure. Those are the big things that are kind of I'm focusing the product around. What I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about how to use this information.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of our guys, Bud, in here, he's runs our alpha group too. Who I would, you know, if us three sat down, I think, yeah, we would be probably your biggest supporter right
Yeah.
out of the gate because, you know, I know how valuable it is. I know how to take action on that. Will you guys be doing anything about automating any of this stuff, or is it mostly just data right now? Do you guys have any plans to automate stuff or to allow people to contribute to adding automation to what you guys have?
It's something that we've been thinking about.
Hmm.
I think I'm definitely leaning towards not having anything. There can be always conversations about kind of APIs and figuring that out down the road, but I'm pretty hesitant to do some algorithmic trading using the data, just
Yep.
because if people are aware that they're on the list of wallets,
Hmm.
it's so easy to manipulate, right? Like if
100%.
I know I'm a wise whale, I'll just make some shitcoin, buy into it, get a whole bunch of other people aping into it because they're following the wallet, or it's just algorithmically done, and then dump on them, right? So got to be mindful of that. And so I think it's a dangerous path to go down, but it's something I'm thinking about, especially if there's if we can kind of curate some list of, more trusted wallets, because, there's a
Hmm.
whole bunch of people that, just wouldn't do that kind of stuff, right?
Of
Bigger
course,
names in the
yes.
space and stuff. So, it's something that's on my mind, but down the road.
How are you guys doing any like classification on like exchange wallets, or is there a pretty good resource for all the exchange data already, where you get the addresses? And then also, too, another question I had with centralized exchanges, you typically have a custody system set up where you have the custody wallets that people deposit into, and then they'll have like a treasury wallet that they'll move funds
Right.
out of. Yeah, is
So
it still pretty similar, or is it completely different on Solana?
no, I mean, it's similar, but we're not getting the information from centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
It's all decentralized stuff. So the wallet list that we pull, like, we literally just like look at all the DEX data and just pull the first filter is like getting all the whale wallets, and it's just kind of in terms of volume on decentralized exchanges. That's our first filter, and then kind of analyzing them for profitability. So we don't use any centralized exchange data at all, and it's um, well, I mean, there are things to that you can get it from it for sure. And this is we've talked a bunch about it, right? I mean, like in the early days of
Mhm.
what I was doing, and it's one thing to think about is like how much money is flowing in and out of exchanges, from especially from these whale wallets, right? So it's something to pay attention to for sure. Um, and I know that in the future I have some plans for using that data, but for the wise whale stuff in particular, nothing immediate.
Did did I ever introduce you to Will Price by any chance? My buddy Will? I thought I did.
Um,
I don't think if I did.
I
I
can't.
need to.
The name doesn't ring a bell, but yeah,
Okay.
introduce me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, the reason I say is too, we were having this discussion about like how do you incentivize people to leak alpha? And to be honest, I don't necessarily think it's leaking alpha. I think what would be really, really great and really something that monks could help add value to your project is as monks become more familiar with the ecosystem, start tagging wallets that they know are for certain types of activity, or
Mm.
identifying exchanges. Because to be honest, Etherscan, I'll give you a great example, right? Etherscan, the people at Etherscan watch their analytics on page hits, and that's how they make decisions about things,
Oh,
right? So they'll see who's
what's
looking
the?
at what wallets, and
Oh,
they'll look
that's
at
so
they'll
interesting.
see how many people view the page versus the actual address, how many times an address is searched, right? And so
Yeah.
that's obviously drawing attention based on page views. But one of the things that I think monks would, because I know what type of operation you have, right? And I know how valuable it is to get input and feedback from that. But if we could get more monks on the Solana ecosystem, then that would be probably the best way for anybody to contribute. And it's not necessarily leaking alpha, but it would be dope if there was some kind of like incentivized token structure that people who are creators that identify wallets and can have people back it up. That would be a fucking dope economy. That would really incentivize people to work on your project. But I kill two birds with one stone and build something that's going to be bitching. You're the guy that I would trust to do it. That's why I would say,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think that kind of like community force to try to label wallets is an interesting idea too. Um, right now, I mean, obviously the product right now, we're doing everything
yeah,
in aggregate, but
yeah.
there's other things, there's other things on the horizon, other things that I'm thinking about, and wallet labeling is definitely like super. It's impactful. It's like it's huge information for sure. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
definitely something on my mind as well. And there are some like that's something there are some amount of people doing this already. Some of the higher up data analytic guys, there's a few companies that are kind of doing some amount of wallet labeling, but
Yep.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they're doing it. There's a lot of different ways to do it, obviously. And having a community just like know, especially communities like know influencers and the NFTs they have and be able to identify wallets that way, kind of ad hoc, is definitely it's a powerful way to do it for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, sorry, because every time you and I sit down and talk about what we could do, and now that there's a community, called Crypto Monks that's like here to help, I just
We
get
got
really, really
community power. I
excited.
know.
Community power, right? Yeah, but
Yeah,
Also, too,
we're gonna
just
have like
because
back and forth between like we're gonna have weekly discussions for sure at Wise Whales. It's gonna be like think about this, like who's gonna be in the Wise Whales Discord, right? Think about that. It's gonna be people who understand the power of this kind of analytic information and are want to use it, and that's going to be a really interesting group of people there, and we'll definitely do a bunch of kind of like um, community discussions where it's like crypto monks, Wise Whales people, and we'll all come together and both discords, whatever it is, doesn't matter, and just talk out things. It's going to be great.
of course, you know how I am too. There's only two parts of this really, which is, you're basically ingesting information and executing on it, right? And so you guys are covering the whole first half of that, which is you know, really just kind of refining the information and presenting people a much more easy to understand method of looking at the way that markets are generated and who's generating those markets and how successful they are. And I'm really, really excited because I've seen what that can do. And, the fact that you guys are doing this on Solana and that you and I are homies always makes it that much
Yeah.
better. So,
Yeah, honestly, anything
so
you guys want, like I'm here. Whenever you want me to really hop on, like we'll get it done, man. We'll get it done. I
of
can't wait.
course,
It's honestly it's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so
uh,
much fun. Once we get you have your community, and I love you guys. We're gonna have ours, and it's gonna be a lot of crowd. Um, what's the word for it when a crowd decides on like actions? There's a word for it,
consensus.
but yeah, well, yeah, sure, yeah, perfect, yeah,
That's a good word, right? Yeah, we could use
yeah,
that one
of
and just
course,
kind of stay on.
yeah,
Yeah. We'll stay in the
yeah.
Web3 language world like we're talking to a bunch of venture
Exactly, yeah.
capitalists. So,
Yeah.
no, I mean, so what's the plan though? So you guys run this. Are you going to open this up to the community? Like, does the community get to partake in the success of Wise Whales, or are you guys opening it up more just like membership as of right now? And,
Yeah, I think, I was thinking about whether or not, there's gonna be, like, what kind of community engagement. I think we're gonna probably keep things, centralized in terms of, what we do and the direction we take, but just have a lot of community input, of course.
yeah.
Um, because also, after Wise Whales, when we launch Wise Whales, there's a second project that we're gonna be, um, starting to develop, which is going to be more on chain, like more like on chain analysis focused. So
Yeah.
not like specifically Wise Whales, but something similar to glass nodes on Solana.
Glass nodes. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Right, and it won't be a Wise Whale specific thing. It'll be its own thing, but there'll be, of course, like some amount of cross access or whitelist, and at least I'm not sure how we're going to do it exactly. It might be a subscription thing. It kind of depends on how much manpower it takes to build the next thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be all kinds of I really wanted to focus on, so like there was kind of two directions I could have we were thinking of going kind of after we get Wise Whales to a good place, and that is kind of branching out to other chains and doing something similar. Like I have half of
Hmm.
this built on Ethereum already.
Yeah.
The reason why I kind of pivoted to Solana, well, there's a couple reasons. I mentioned I was just getting into Solana more and understanding the ecosystem more and more, and that was one reason. And another big reason was that OpenSea is like they do a lot of their stuff off chain,
Yep.
and their API is closed, and they're just a pain in the ass. Like on Solana, it's like all the marketplace NFT marketplace data is all it's all on chain. But yeah, I mean, half of this is built on Ethereum, and so I was kind of, debating whether or not to kind of build out a Wise Whales type thing on different chains, or to kind of go deeper into Solana. And Solana is just lacking so much of on the data side, and I really understand the holes. And so I really wanted to just go deeper and deeper into Solana and just give the community kind of
Yeah.
the tools that are missing there. And
It's the most
so
business
there's going to be,
value,
yeah, not yeah,
right?
the most business value, and also like I also just want to like mess around with like bigger on chain data structures too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just where my heart is at too, right? So
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so I'm not sure. how much the community is going to be like really deciding on like what protocols we're going to add and things like that. We're going to have a dedicated team to Wise Whales, like continuing to build everything else out as time goes forward, and we're going to have some part of it probably new hires kind of working on an on-chain analysis types uh, separate separate site.
Yeah, man. Is it something too? Yeah, I'd be like super excited to see an API come out of
Yeah,
it that
yeah,
we could
yeah,
just
yeah.
plug right into. That would be fucking dope.
I know,
Um,
and like there's lots of yeah, there's lots of people that have talked to me about that exactly. So lots of different ways to go, and we'll have to see how things go, how things play out, right?
of course, yeah. Again, like I said, there's any way that we can help too. We have a lot of people in our community that are just active trying to get their foot in the door with projects. So, if you're looking for help anywhere, just let us know too, because
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure plenty of monks out here would love to be a part of something like this. And these are the kinds of projects, especially. I mean, you guys are a big data shop, right? And that's kind of your where you guys have headed, and your expertise is more mathematics and modeling and algorithmic. So that's really, really where you're going to shine. But you know,
Yeah. I mean, if anyone is out there is like thinking of the data side of stuff in general and in crypto, definitely shoot me a message. Like I want to talk to all those kinds of people. Like whatever, whether it's on-chain analysis or wallet tracking or just like understanding the data structure in general.
mhm.
Always good to talk to those kind of people. I mean, that's a big reason of why I go out to these hacker houses to just make sure I know everyone who's working kind of as many people as I can working in the data side of things in crypto.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
but also, I mean, like there could be other things too for sure. So I'll keep that in mind. That the crypto monks community is they're part of my team too. You guys are all
For sure.
homies.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you supported us early on too, so you're an early
Yeah,
supporter here. But I think more importantly, we try to help as many people as we can get into Web3, and this is one of those perfect opportunities. Be a part of a community early on, and if data is your thing, I'm sure these guys would love to hear what you have to say. And again, like I said, Dave is the Solana guy that I trust. Like anything Solana, I just go to you. I don't really go to anybody else, even though I know other people in the industry that are working solely on Solana. Um,
appreciate that.
you're the only person I trust to come in here and talk about it. So do we have anything lined up? I mean, I don't. I know you guys are minting and it's still a month out. You're still doing a lot, but uh, you know, do we have anything lined up for whitelist spots or anything that we could kind of entice the community with, or are we holding on to that for a later
I
date?
think no, I think we're gonna do maybe today. Yeah, we're gonna post in you guys Discord, give you some opportunities for whitelist. Maybe right after this. So uh, keep your eye open for sure. There'll be whitelist opportunities like today.
All right, awesome. Yeah, I know we're kind of pushing you into a spot to make some executive decisions, and
No, we
it's
want
always
we
really,
want
really
monks.
tough. But
We want monks in there, so there'll be a bunch of whitelist spots available just for
all
monks.
right,
A
all right, all
large
right,
a large a large amount. So yeah, it'll be posted in the Discord. I think I'll
excellent.
let Brendan Henry make that post.
Yeah, Brandon Henry, do you guys have any idea what we want to do there, or are we just going to give away? What do we have, like 100 spots, maybe? I don't know.
Yep. So we'll be giving away
Yeah,
100 spots.
all
Yeah,
three
so
hundred thousand spots. Cool,
300,000
perfect.
spots. Only
I'll take
monks
them
can
all.
mint the project. No.
Yeah, only monks commit, right?
Yes, it'll
No,
be
so
Get
100
whales
spots
down.
going off, and
no,
all
no,
we
no.
give away in just 1 minute.
All right. So what I would say, and probably the best approach for us to do next steps, and Dave, I know your time is super valuable right now, right before you go into Mint, but there's probably a few things that I would really love to see. Maybe it's somebody in our community that can help, but we need to do a public onboarding for Solana, or any good resources for onboarding to Solana. And then obviously how we plan on minting, or anything particular about wallets or any of that stuff, Solana niche things that we need to know, or niche things. If we could get something scheduled in the community where we can go over this stuff real quick and just get people onboarded almost the same way that we do with Polygon or anything else. I mean, fuck, I'll even send out tokens to get people onboarded if we have to. But yeah, whatever we got to do. Yeah, that's going to be the huge part of this.
We can do a couple things. Like let's do a night where we're just trying to onboard people and talk about like the basics of Solana and what's going on. And also we'll do more in depth into the actual protocols and like what we have going on in Solana too. I'm down.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll set up a date for sure.
I know I sucked up a lot of the time for questions, guys. But I see Wiggs, he answered the question about doing stuff on ETH and expanding to other ecosystems. So I didn't want to ask it again, but it sounds like Dave already has a lot of this set up and he'll be moving on to other chains. At a certain point, we'll figure that out. But
I think so again, I think going like deeper into to Solana is my priority, but kind of depending on my bandwidth, like I really want to get this. I mean, like again, it's literally half built on Ethereum. I actually have a Telegram. I have a Telegram where I get like we have a Wise Whales list on Ethereum, and I have a Telegram that just like sends me all the transactions. And so I get pinged, what's going on all the time. We haven't gone through all the, we haven't parsed all the protocol data and stuff. That's a lot of work, but there's a lot of that built on Ethereum as well. So hopefully we'll get to it.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I see they just posted the Wise Whales giveaway is live now on Holders giveaway. So
look at all these whale pictures.
I know.
The AMA question.
And to be honest, I would really like to we probably need to put a little bit more out on our social media about the next time we have you come in here to do trainings, because it'll be a big part of what we want to do. And I didn't mean to pre-subscribe you to trainings, but just these events that we talk about. But I definitely want to get as many people on board when we do that as possible. And then Henry, you know how we've been doing with our normal stuff, probably just record it and then we can hand it off to the education team. But yeah, this is great, Dave. I'm super fucking excited for you, dude. You have an open mic here. We love having you in here. Anytime you want to come in, just chat. I mean, I'm going to definitely try to get us hooked up in our alpha group with everything you guys are doing. But yeah, any questions from the community? Anybody else want to ask questions? Because I've kind of hogged up all the time. I always do. When I get Dave, I just completely bombard him with questions. But let me see here. AMA questions. I'm pretty familiar with Solana wallets. Okay, cool. Yeah, Dizzy's one of our most helpful resources here. So Dizzy, are you in the Wise Whales group? Because that's probably the best place to start is let's get you in. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so my boy Dizzy's in there. Dizzy comes in and actually does the mints for us live with the alpha group, and Bud is basically the monk in charge of our alpha group. So
nice.
I just want to get him keyed in. Let's get this rolling. Like, I'm really, really excited. This is the kind of shit I love to see. So Dave, like I said, you got to open mic here anytime you want to come in, man. You got it.
Awesome, man. Let's set up something we'll set up a Solana walkthrough, Dave, for sure. Do a couple of them.
Yeah, let's do a couple. I mean, I'm honestly, and we'll just, I could probably get you passed around to a couple groups so you guys can just keep flooding them with knowledge, right? You're just going to get more and more people activated on your product and your brand. And I know I know Brandon and Henry have been working really, really hard on helping you guys out. So
they've been awesome.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, Brandon, I'm gonna keep fucking up and calling you Chinter, dude. It's just hard for me to get that straight. I'm sorry.
That's good, dude.
Yeah, that is me catching myself, just natural instinct, right? So
that's all right.
All right. So if we got anything else, we probably gotta close it down. We're just running perfect on time right now. But
awesome.
anything else, guys?
Well, you can always come in and come into the Wise Whales Discord, shoot us questions there, of course, and we'll be. I think our communities will be linked a little bit, so there'll be other opportunities too, for sure.
All right, yeah, we just posted another link. There we go. Thank you, Brandon.
These are
come on in, guys. You're early. I've only done this is only I haven't done the funny thing is I've done this is only the second AMA and like both of them have been Ethereum, so we haven't even getting into the Solana AMAs yet. So you're early.
No worries. No worries. And always appreciate it. Always, Dave. I look
All right,
forward to seeing you
guys.
soon too. When we meeting up next, huh? When you coming back to the States?
Oh man,
Anytime
for
soon.
sure. Can't wait. All right, guys. Thanks for
All
having me. It was a blast.
Thanks for coming out, man. We'll talk to everybody soon.
All
right,
right, see you.
guys. Have a good one.